Hey, Ken Roche, massage therapist and inspirational personality. They call me blind and dangerous. I have a black belt in karate, but it's mostly because I bang into stuff. Crap! I'm a comedian and public speaker, but actions speak louder than words. As a registered massage therapist, I treat people for pain and athletic performance.
Oh, you have great hands.
Rehabilitation or relaxation, I can help you feel, look, and be better. I'm in Waterloo Region, but you can add Ken R-O-C-H-E on Facebook or email kenrochermt@rogers.com.
Thank you for joining me. My name is Ken Roche. I'm a registered massage therapist. I'm totally blind. I was a downhill ski racer, and I'm a current active second-degree black belt in Schodican Karate. Today we're talking about applied biomechanical concepts for self-care and repair, or the ABCs for SCAR. Everything in your body heals with SCAR except for bone, so it's about how it's going to heal. Today we're talking about the mechanics of the neck. I've got a couple of props we're going to get to, but typically speaking, I see a lot of people with this anterior head carriage where it's really quite far forward. You're going to see there's an exaggerated curvature in the neck. Maybe there's a shelf. Sometimes the shoulders get protracted as well. They do say that for every inch that the ear is in front of the shoulder adds 10 pounds to the entire posterior cervical chain, if you want, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments. A lot of therapists, a lot of people might say that, you know, there's a lot of scar tissue up and through there. It's like, oh, it's all hard and dense. But it's really just the connective tissue gets dense with collagen. We want to think about muscles being like a sausage. You're going to hear a lot of overlap. If you've watched any of my other videos, and it's rightfully so, because it's the same concept. A muscle tendon is going to be the same thing. Doesn't matter if it's in the foot, the neck, the arm, shoulder, or a ligament joint capsule is going to be the same kind of thing and require the same kind of treatment no matter where it is in the body. If you think about a muscle fiber being like a single sausage, and you've got the casing that goes from end to end, and then you take a series of 5 or sausages, you put them in a package. So now you put a package around 5 sausages, and you have that casing that goes to the very end as well. And then you put multiple packages into a case, and then you have like a cardboard case. So if you had the casing for all of the packages combined with the casing from the packages combined with the casing of the single sausage, as they kind of come together at either end, that is the tendon. So rather than thinking there's a tendon at either end of a muscle, that tendon is continuous all the way across. And the problem we have with the scarring or the density in the upper shoulders is that it's not muscle, it's casing that has gotten more collagen and more dense over time. We want to put more meat into the muscle. So you want to put more actin and myosin filaments into each sausage. Fill the sausage with meat rather than hang on those casings. This is going to develop with more tension. So we have a lot of tension in through here. You're going to see a lot more collagen, a lot more density, and plus you're not going to be putting the pressures in the right spots. I like to think very simply. If you start thinking about vertebrae being like a tricycle, they got the vertebral body in the front, it's got the 2 little feet in the back. You know, as you go forward and you lean back, you're basically doing a pop-a wheelie on those back wheels, and that means you're putting a lot of pressure on there. They're designed to take about 20% of the mechanical forces, but by going like this, you're going to take 30 or 40%, and then you move left and right. You're literally grinding one vertebrae on the other, and this is why we're going to get into talking about cervical retraction. As I tuck my chin and pull back, I'm literally lifting one vertebrae off of the other and allowing more freedom of motion as I go this way or this way. Now, I guess we should talk a little bit about the orientation of those facet joints. So in the low back, they're vertical. Doesn't matter if it's left or right, but they're vertical, and that allows us to go side to side bending. In the mid back, they're in the front to back plane, and that's going to allow us to go rotate side to side. They allow us to do the rotational motion. In the neck, they're going to be up on an angle, both forward and back and side to side. So when I turn to the left, the right side's going to go up, the left side's going to come down. And when I turn to the right side goes back and down, and the left side goes up. When I side bend, the left side's going to come down, the right side's going to go up. When I side bend to the right side goes down, the left side comes up. That allows a lot more range of motion. You'll know that the neck has a lot more range of motion than the mid back or the low back. Mechanically speaking, so that vertebrae don't bump into each other, in the neck, they rotate to the side and side bend to the same side. This becomes important when you got issues like whiplash and you want to learn how to fix mechanical dysfunctions. I think it's important for everything. And we're going to talk about how the ABCs for self-care and repair get administered in another video. Well, this video too. I mean, it's all overlapping, like I said. So we're going to turn to the left, side bend to the left. If I just put my ear, my right ear to my right shoulder, my vertebrae are actually rotating to the right and side bending to the right. When I take my left ear to my left shoulder, the vertebrae inside are actually rotating to the left and side bending to the left. This is opposite to the low back, where it rotates to the left and side bends to the right. I want you to think about an airplane now. An airplane, when it turns, the belly's going to be facing left as the plane turns to the right. The belly turns to the right as the plane turns to the left. This is how other parts of the vertebrae work, including the skull on the cervical vertebrae. That's why it's kind of important. They talk about the law of opposition. So the skull moves differently on the neck than the neck does. The skull on the first and second vertebrae rotates to the left, side bends to the right. It rotates to the right, side bends to the left. So if you have issues with the upper cervical vertebrae, we need to know that it's opposite than the rest of the vertebrae. It does get rather complicated, but don't worry about it because you don't need to know all of these things, but it does help when you want to fix like headaches, facet irritation, or call it degenerative joint disease. Although I don't like that term because it's not a disease, it's not something like coronavirus where I can pass it to you and you can pass it to me. This is like osteoarthritis. This is a wearing away of bits and pieces. Even temporal mandibular joint disease or dysfunction, TMJ, TMJD, if you will. It gets worse with your head going forward. It turns this into a weight-bearing joint and adds a lot more pressure to the joint and the surfaces of the joint than is necessary. So whether it's whiplash or because of a trauma, maybe you hit or got hit and bounced off of something, I find a lot of times being blind, I hit things and it's actually the jerking off of things that actually hurts me more than what I hit. But there might be little tiny muscles in through there that can turn your neck off to the side and call, the wry neck or torticollis. People also have tech neck now because they're working on laptops and they're looking down and then they're looking at the screen over there, looking down, looking at the screen, looking down, looking at the screen. But all of these can be worked on with similar exercises because we're dealing with similar mechanics, similar tissue. We've got the bones, specific shapes of the bones, specific mechanical movements of the bones, joint capsules, ligaments, and muscle tendons. So we have to respect the mechanics of how they're going to go. We have to encourage the muscles. We have to make them long, strong, and tough. So I've got a couple of props here I want to show you. First of all, I'm going to show you my friend Jones Bones. You're going to notice Jones got himself a little bit of a headband. Maybe I can make him say hello. I'm no ventriloquist, but hello, people. He's got himself a headband out of duct tape because I didn't want the skull to fall off. I've used this guy a lot to study, so he's in bits and pieces, but he's going to do a really good job with our demonstrations for today. So here's a decent spine. Until we get down to here, it's all twisted, and you'll see that that's all scoliotic. Okay, I'll fix that. We'll talk about scoliosis in another video, but if you notice side view, it should be a normal curvature going forward and a little bit of curvature coming backwards and then a little bit going forwards. This is very functional because this low back curvature can bend a lot. You'll notice that this here is fused bones. That's what they call a structural curvature because that's all acting as one piece, although there's multiple pieces part of the sacrum and coccyx. As we move into the mid back, it's also a functional curvature. You can have hyperkyphosis, you can have a flat back. There's many different postures based on your use in your environment. Once we get up into the neck, it's also a functional curvature. So this can have that anterior head carriage as we go forward, and you're going to see the shelf that I was talking about. You're going to see the excessive compression on these back facet joints. They're only supposed to take 20%, but now maybe they take 30%, 40% over a long period of time. As you go further forward, over time, you get a lot more compression as you're looking left and looking right, especially when you start to use, this guy's head's not going to participate very well. When we start to use only 2 or 3 bones, we're only moving C3 and C4. Most of the time C6 and C7 are very fused. They talk about that as being the handle for whiplash. The rest is the whip. The bottom C6 and C7 is the handle. So we tend to use C4 and C3 like a lot when we side bend. Only those middle parts are moving. If I did this back and forth with a wire, you would understand why that would break. And it's going to be the exact same thing inside of our body. So we got a little bit more weight. I wanted to talk about that. Here I've got 10-pound bag of potatoes. In normal posture, I've got about 12 to 14 pounds of head. As I come down, if I stack the blocks, spend my energy stacking the blocks, I'm going to dissipate that 60% on the vertebral bodies, 20% on each facet or back wheels of those tricycle. As I go forward, I take less off the vertebrae body and I put more onto the facet joints or those back wheels. And then we add this 10-pound weight. It's not going to be very long before you can see why I'm going to start getting neck and back tension, headaches. Eventually, it's going to start to get more collagen. It's going to start to adapt as I look left, right, move around. And it's going to get more used to it, but the bones are going to start to degenerate. Those facet joints, as you press them and grind them, you're going to wear away the cartilage and start to get some increased bone growth underneath that. Subchondral bone is going to start to grow. So we want to avoid those kind of things, and all of these things can be avoided or improved with some simple exercise. I've talked about it before. I want to tell you why. The most important thing here is why we do what we do. So here we go. Chin tuck. It's going to take that vertebrae, instead of jamming the vertebrae together, literally lift one vertebrae off of the other. It's going to stack the blocks so that that weight, 12 or 14 pounds, not 22 pounds, not 32 pounds, not 42 pounds, the 12 or 14 pounds, it's going to distribute that down 60% in the vertebral body, 20% in each facet joint, all the way down. In therapy, we're looking for contractures. You'll notice up here there's a C. Down here there's another C. So if I look sideways, there's like an S. Maybe that's a dyslexic S. But by doing a cervical retraction, you're going to stretch that and stretch that. Elongate. So you're going to start to take some tension out of the suboccipital muscles. A lot of people get headaches from the suboccipital muscles. You're going to start to take some pressure off the bones in through here. You're going to start to stretch some of these anterior neck muscles, scalene muscles, that can potentially pinch the brachial plexus, cause numbness, tingling down your hands. Another thing that this cervical retraction can help with. Tuck, tuck, and rotate. There's lots of ways to do that. We've talked about the spinal extensor exercises by tucking your chin back as you lift, shoulders coming up, halfway up when you come halfway up, all the way up when you start to reach as high as you possibly can. The shoulder blades have to be as high as they can. You can do the Y with the chin tuck. You can do the chin tuck with the T. You can do the chin tuck with the W. The idea is to straighten out your neck. You can put your hands up behind your head, tuck your chin and push into your hands. You can roll to the right and resist with your right hand. You can roll to the left and resist with your left hand. That could be a towel after a shower. You can put a towel around the back of your neck and push into that. Roll left, roll right, pull to the right, pull to the left. Change the angle of pull. Change the muscles that are working. It could be your headrest in your car, should be right behind your head anyways, so that when you get hit from behind, hopefully you don't, but if you get hit from behind, the head's right there, so it doesn't get whiplash. Regardless, you get tension headaches, torticollis, degenerative joint disease, thoracic outlet syndrome down the head. All of these things are going to be helped with that simple chin tuck, chin tuck rotate. I'll tell you how I know. I'm going to do a specific ABCs for SCAR about some of my personal injuries. I said I was a totally blind downhill ski racer, and I've got another little prop here. I got a helmet that has a crack on the side. I doubt if you're going to see much of that, but maybe you can see that it's cracked. I was wearing this very helmet when it cracked. The crack goes from there. There's a matching scar on the side of my cheek to about there. I was skiing in Quebec. I had a chin guard on this. Otherwise, I would have probably got more hurt. Other days, I'm going to talk about actually soft tissue manipulation, how to actually try and fix a few things, get your hands on there, self-mobilization, all of that kind of stuff. This is focused on the mechanics. There's a lot of things more than the chin tuck rotate that I did and I do and I would continue to do, especially with my hands, pushing in and teaching you how to take care of suboccipital muscle headaches. That's for another day. Today we're talking about mechanics, but I will say the chin tuck rotate in all kinds of range of motion, with and against gravity, against resistance, is the number one exercise or activity or postural improvement thing that you can do to change everything in any of these conditions. Hands down. If I would recommend any sort of stretches, simple chin to chest. Also in the shower would be good for an extra 30 seconds. Chin to opposite armpit if it's going to stretch the left hand side. It doesn't really matter what it's stretching. The shortest string is going to get the stretch. Come down to your left axilla armpit and then maybe even round your shoulder forward to get some more tension in there, especially in the shower. Give it an extra 30 or 60 seconds. Those are all very temporary relief stretches. If you do them all the time and rely on those stretches, you're going to increase your anterior head carriage and you're going to just feel better about getting worse. Good stretches to do would be the chin tuck, surprise, rotate, and now maybe extend. They talk about stargazing and looking up over your shoulder, but you still have to have that chin tucked down. Make sure you're not using the mid joints excessively, getting those lower vertebrae 6 and 7 to extend backwards. What about with good posture? They say your head weighs about 12 or 14 pounds. So if it's in this upright ideal postural position with your ear directly over top your shoulder blades, use a little bit of energy to stack the blocks, you're passing that weight down 60% on the vertebral bodies and then 20% on each facet joint or each back wheel of those tricycles. So if you were to then load that with this sack of potatoes, that weight is going to be dissipated much easier on your body than having it out here. If it's way out there, you can see it's going to be degenerating and breaking down over time, but tucking your chin back, getting your shoulders up a little bit, there's half your Y, and you have your shoulder blades back, bending your knees, and it absorbs the weight all the way down into the leg muscles and makes it much more convenient. Now it looks a little bit strange, but many cultures do this. Backpacks, baskets of fruit to market, whatever. Whereas the Europeans and the North American first world living, we're like, no, I will carry it out here. I will carry it down here. I'm going to carry it there and pull on this posterior chain and rip my neck and shoulder muscles apart rather than use this to regenerate. And that's what all of this is all about. These applied biomechanical concepts for self-care and repair, ABCs for SCAR, are all about how to live more regeneratively rather than degeneratively. So that's it for today. I definitely want to thank you for joining me. If you have any sort of comments or questions, it definitely inspires me to continue with this. And if you decide that you would like to contribute to my employment efforts online, I would definitely appreciate any sort of financial support. Keep in mind that in my day-to-day practice, people pay up to $95 an hour for my time. Out here, I'd be very happy if I got a donation of $2, $5. I am hoping to put together a package, and I don't want this to cost a lot of money. If it would cost $25, $30 for more of a robust package. But for now, please feel free to enjoy these. I hope you benefit from them. Please please share them, like them, whatever you like to do. If you want to put some tags in, help my marketing, I would definitely appreciate it. Remember, I'm totally blind. This is not easy for me, but I think it's worth it. And I thank you very much for your time and look forward to spending some time with you again. Massage therapy can be an excellent tool to help you maintain your physical function and keep all your muscles and joints working their optimum. We spend a great deal of time, effort, and money to maintain our homes and our cars, and these are easily replaced. So why not invest in your physical future and at least try to feel, look, and be your best? If you think getting a full body massage is a good idea, participating in regular massage therapy is a great idea. Combined with gentle stretch and contraction activities, you can better guide your body's positive growth. Contact me and together we'll work towards helping you survive better today and live better tomorrow.